You are listening to Diana Russo's weekly podcast. Today's discussion will be focusing on music and Alzheimer's disease, featuring our guest, Nancy Russo, professional musician. Thank you so much for being here today, Nancy.
Thank you for asking me. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Can you please tell me your experience with music?
Well, I'm a graduate of Ithaca College, and I have a degree in music education and performance. And I taught each level of instrumental music from 4th grade all the way through 12th grade. And I do some lecturing at colleges, and I do some consulting at high schools on how to run an effective program. And currently I'm doing a lot of adjudicating out in the county and throughout the state. And also taken on a new venture in which I'll be organizing groups of professional musicians to record music for musicals throughout the country.
Can you please tell me your definition of what you think Alzheimer's is?
I think it's different for every individual, but the way I look at Alzheimer's, I guess I would have to sum it up that Alzheimer's is a disease that affects anyone of any age, and particularly as you get older, that restricts individuals from any kind of cognitive understanding, and they are not able to recall whether it's recent past experiences or past experience from long ago, and even be able to remember how to function on a daily basis. It varies by each person, for each person. I think the disease is misunderstood. I think that people don't understand that the individuals that have Alzheimer's, they don't choose to not remember. They have no control over the fact that they cannot relate. And it's very, very, very frustrating to talk with them and interact with them when you're thinking that they should remember and they just can't. And I did read a book at one point that talked about the experiences of somebody that has Alzheimer's. And it was that deep down inside, they understood what was going on and they wanted to be able to communicate and articulate what their thoughts were. But the disease restricted them from being able to do so that they could not communicate. It wouldn't come out. They knew deep in their brain what they were trying to say, but weren't able to articulate that, and that's very, very sad.
And can you please explain your experience with people who have Alzheimer's and the effect music has on them?
Well, about 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I took it upon myself to participate in musical activities in some of the facilities that she was a member of where she lived. And one of the things that I noticed with bringing groups to perform, where you have adults and even some younger adults, the ages ranged, who had no cognitive awareness. When we were able to play the music, immediately their focus was there, and a lot of them who could not even communicate with full sentences were able to remember words of music, and it sparked their memory, and it was just amazing how they could actually clap the beat, tap the beat, sing the words, and if they didn't know the words, they could remember the melody.
And you think that's directly related to music and their brain?
Oh, absolutely. I think that music was such an integral part of, I think, everyone's life from birth throughout their existence, is that it triggers a certain memory in their brain, and you can relate, whether it be words or melody, and it just triggers that memory where maybe they couldn't remember things verbally. So I think it just triggers a different aspect of the brain.
Have you incorporated this sort of music experience with Alzheimer's within your students?
Oh, yes. We've been performing at various memory care facilities for probably the last let's see, maybe 15 years at least. And it really makes a big difference in their awareness as well. And I've had many students take an interest in Alzheimer's patients and advocacy for Alzheimer's.
So how do you think it's affected your students?
Well, in many ways, I think that they've realized that music is not just for entertainment only. I think they've realized that it has an effect on people of all ages. I mean, when we go perform for young kids, you see the enthusiasm of young kids, especially when we play music that they're familiar with. And that mainly is pop music. And then they go and they perform holiday medleys for patients of Alzheimer's or dementia, and they see that right away that the same thing happens, that these adults remember, like I said, either the verses or the melodies, and it sparks a passion and enthusiasm. And I think that the kids have become more sensitized to the effects music has on various members of society. I want to say that I think that if there was a larger awareness of the effects that music has on Alzheimer's patients, that there would be more advocacy for incorporating that into their daily existence. It's interesting, like I said a few times already, that there are many Alzheimer's patients that just are non-functioning. They can't communicate, they cannot relate, they have difficulty with everyday tasks. And if maybe music was incorporated somewhat like a music therapy, where it really doesn't even have to be that difficult or complex, that they would see that they would be able to relate to the Alzheimer's patients, or at least spark a little bit of life in their personality with music. And I think what you're doing as far as advocating for music for Alzheimer's patients is huge, and it's creating an awareness that I think that is long overdue.
What do you think others can do who may not play an instrument or have any musical abilities in order to connect with Alzheimer's and bring that memory back to their life?
Well, just like anything else out there, I think that just participating in any events that may take place, or advocating for Alzheimer's patients and understanding what music does for Alzheimer's patients, I think would be awesome. I'm thinking about how many of us participate in walks for MS, cancer, breast cancer walks. We may not be affected by it ourselves or personally with people around us, but we know the importance of it, and I think that's by educating others, I think that will help with the advocacy part.
Do you think even playing like a CD or an old record or the radio could even help?
Absolutely. Getting a group of people together that may not have any musical talents or experiences, you could form a group, and there could be someone that plays a CD, and the others try to reach out to the patients and have them clap a pattern and dance with them. And I think that is part of appreciating music and the music advocacy for Alzheimer's. I guess the only thing that I could say in closure is that I think more people should be educated about the disease. I think as it seems that there are more and more people that have the disease, it's becoming more common, that I think that there is going to be more education about the disease. And I would be interested to see if somebody takes this on and really does some research about the effects of music in Alzheimer's. And I think you're on the right path, and I hope that you can bring more awareness to everyone with this. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We value your input.
No problem. My pleasure. Good luck to you.
You just listened to this segment of Remembering Through Music. Don't forget to tune in next week.